We're conditioned to fear failure, to see it as the final chapter. But what if it's the prologue to your breakthrough? Failure isn't a dead end, it's a redirection. A loud wake-up call from life saying, there's more in you. When things fall apart, they don't just break you, they reveal you. They strip away the fake strength and expose what needs to be rebuilt. And that's where your story begins. Failure is feedback. It's foundation. Falling isn't a sign of weakness, it's a test of resilience. When you hit the ground, you learn what broke, what held, and what matters. You gain knowledge that comfort can't teach. It's not the fall that defines you, it's the rise. Each stumble sharpens your balance. Each bruise builds your strength. Gravity may pull you down, but it also gives you something to push against. And in that push, you discover your wings. Don't just recover, relearn, refocus. When life knocks you down, it's not a breakdown, it's a buildup. At rock bottom, everything false gets stripped away. You see who's real, you see what matters, and most importantly, you see what you're truly made of. Pain becomes clarity. Silence becomes wisdom. And from that depth you begin again, stronger, rawer, purer. No fluff, no pretense, just you and the truth. And that's a power no one can take from you. You're not rebuilding on sand anymore. You're anchoring to the deepest part of you. You didn't get the job. The door closed. The plan didn't work out. Good, that was life editing your path. Rejection isn't a punishment, it's precision. It protects you from what wasn't aligned. It reroutes you towards something higher, even if it stings. Every no saves you time, energy, and heartache. You're not being pushed away, you're being pulled towards something better. Trust the detour. The path to purpose isn't straight, it's redirected. Each scar tells a story, not of weakness, but of endurance. You bled, you cried, you broke, but you healed. And healing is a victory most people never talk about. Scars remind you that you can hurt and still move forward. They're not shame, they're symbols of strength, of survival, of stories that didn't end with pain. Wear them with pride. They mean you've lived, they mean you fought, they mean you kept going when you had every reason to quit. Your scars are your signature. I've been through hell and I'm still here. When you fail, fog lifts. You finally see what's working and what's not. Failure forces you to stop guessing. It brings a sharp focus where hope used to blur things. You realize who's real, what's essential, what needs to change. In new failure, you meet your true self, the one beneath the image, the ambition, the noise. And in that stillness, you hear something valuable: direction, truth. It doesn't come from winning. It comes from the wound. You can give up on the goal, but not the lesson. Failure brings feedback whether you want it or not. If you walk away without learning, you're doomed to repeat it. Life doesn't let you skip the curriculum. Every stumble is a textbook. Every seeing failure as personal and start seeing it as instructional, you evolve, you refine, you sharpen. You are more than one bad season, more than one broken attempt, more than one failed idea. This is a page, not the plot, a storm, not your story. Don't let a low moment rewrite your worth. Every great story has conflict, has tension, has heartbreak. But it's how the character responds that makes the ending unforgettable. You're still holding the pen, you're still writing. So turn the page, not with shame, but with strength. Because the best chapters often come after the most painful ones. What worked before may not work now, and failure forces that realization. It asks hard questions. Is this truly the best path? Is this still aligned? Is there a bolder way? And in those questions, creativity is born. You start innovating, exploring, reimagining. Some of your most powerful breakthroughs will come from shattered plans. Failure doesn't just end what doesn't work, it opens space for what could. Don't fear reinvention, embrace it. That's where genius hides. What keeps most people stuck isn't the fall, it's the fear of the fall. They build mental walls that are taller than any real obstacle, but fear is a liar. Once you face it, you realize it's paper thin. Failure doesn't destroy, it instructs. It doesn't shame, it sharpens. The worst thing that could happen, you grow, you adapt, you improve. The truth is, living small to avoid failure is the only real failure. So leap. Not because you're fearless, but because you're tired of being frozen. You don't inspire others by never failing. You inspire them by failing and refusing to give up. People don't connect with perfection, they connect with perseverance. They don't want to see a flawless hero. They want to see someone who's human, who's tried and fallen, who's been there and still stood tall. That's real. That's rare. So stop hiding your scars. They're proof of your resilience. Show the world what persistence looks like. Let them see how strength is built. Not in polished moments, but in the mess. Everyone gets knocked down. Everyone gets humbled. Everyone faces the moment where it all crashes. But only a few rise, and fewer rise with fire. It's not the failure that defines your life. It's your decision in the moment after. Will you stay bitter or get better? Will you freeze or fight forward? Real failure is refusing to rise, but as long as you get back up, you're undefeated. Dust off, lock in, rise again. This is how resilience roars. Failure can either burn you or ignite you. The same flames that consume weak dreams can forge unshakable ones. Use the anger, use the heartbreak, use the disappointment. Not to destroy, but to energize. Let it push you. Let it remind you of how badly you want this. Because those who rise after a fall rise differently. They rise deeper, stronger, wiser. Set your soul on fire and let failure be the spark. This isn't where your story ends. It's where the real one begins. Failure isn't a wall, it's a doorway. You've been cracked open, not crushed. Your spirit isn't broken, it's being rebuilt. Stronger, smarter, sharper. This is the Launchpad. For your next chapter, for your better self, for the comeback no one saw coming. The fall doesn't get the final word, you do. So rise, speak, move, build. Let the world see what happens when failure fuels a fighter. Because this isn't your defeat, it's your ignition.